Hey, Troj here. Today's episode, I'm going to apologize. I have been having massive technical problems with my lovely computer. So, yes, there's no face cam, but also the audio, for whatever reason, decided not to be real crash hot. But anyway, it's all listenable, if that's a word. So, yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully, back to normal next week. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am MinerThoughts, and with me is my co-host, my brother from down under, the Troj, the real Troj. How are you?
Extremely frustrated with my computer. As you can see, no face cam. That's my fault. It just won't work today. So, yay. So, yeah, we're back to the cartoon version if you're watching this on YouTube.
Well, at least it's not AI, At least we're something that's been hand drawn by Cubsy.
Yes, it is 100% real art. So, yeah, thank you to Blind Cubsy for all of that. But yes, definitely time to start pushing the button on that new PC, I think.
Yeah, it's due. It's due.
It is. It's well and truly overdue. Don't you just hate it when things just take a long time and then just don't materialize?
Yeah, well, I mean, you hope and pray that someday it will happen, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
And it just doesn't live up to the hype.
I think we're trying to segue into something. Are we?
Maybe.
Sounds like it.
It felt like it was smooth. Smooth. We're professionals at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after so many episodes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the hang of this.
Apparently. But
So
we are, of course, talking about something very specific.
yes. A bit of news came out earlier this week. Much to everybody's I don't know what the word is for it, their disbelief, their maybe they expected it to happen. Yeah. Hytale has been canceled.
Shock. Nobody ever saw this coming.
Yeah. It's been in development for quite a while.
Yeah, from what I understand, almost 10 years of development.
Yeah.
And just
Yes.
wrapped up with a community post saying basically goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, I was excited about it. It looked like Minecraft Plus. It looked like, I mean, there's a lot of modded stuff for Minecraft out there that looks, modded, slightly different. But this Hytale had a slightly different feel to it, and a lot of people were excited about it. I was.
I was sort of indifferent to it, but I think that's because really I've only come into Minecraft. I was going to say in the last couple of years, but I think about it now and it's like half a decade or so. I was sort of indifferent towards it, but it did look interesting. If you look at it now with the benefit of hindsight,
Mhm.
in 10 years, there's like no early access, there's no demo, there's no alpha, there's no pre-alpha, there's nothing. It's just like here's an update, here's a video, here's a community post, here's a video showing us after so many years that we now have a launch pad. Is there actually a game, or do they just spend the last 10 years just twiddling their thumbs?
Well, I've been doing some research and just hearing some things, and it started out with I guess what they're calling the legacy version that was being developed, and there was a lot of hype around it, regular community posts, and that actually is completely done from what they're saying. It's pretty much ready to ship, ready for beta testing. But from what the talks with developers and different people working on it said, what had happened, which I think is the downfall, it kind of makes me feel like that Minecraft is running into the same thing, is the decision to move into a cross-platform a something that you can play anywhere that wasn't PC only was the thing that broke, the camel's back. It made it harder to develop. Um, they had to go back and redo some things, which if you look back for the past couple of years, there's some posts where they pretty much had to start over from scratch, and I think it's probably because they had to re-engineer the whole game from the legacy version so they could play it on the PlayStations and the Switch, and whereas they were pretty much done with the legacy version. The one that was just for PC is pretty much done.
All right, let me play devil's advocate. Is it though, or is it all just a little bit too late, or just smoke and mirrors from the developer? Because it's all good to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we've got this done," but we weren't able to release it. Blah 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 blah. Again, it comes back to there was no pre-alpha, there was no play testing, there was no inviting content creators to an early access. There was nothing. So why is it only being said, oh yeah, but we've got this full thing? To me, to me that just comes across as smoke and mirrors trying to save face. I think it's just a colossal failure. Like if you look at the development updates of what you actually see in videos, there's not that much. Like you get like a cinematic sort of thing. There's no
Hmm.
real big gameplay. One of the more recent ones had them. The stairs weren't even working. They had to teleport upstairs if you actually watch the videos. Um, you know, one of the more recent ones was, oh, we've got a working launch pad. Yeah, great. It doesn't look like there was a working thing. Like, if they had a game that you're saying is ready to ship, but they're not allowed to because of cross platform, why would they not be showing that off in these updates to keep the hype and keep that real? I don't believe it. I honestly don't believe it. I think it's just whether it's a cross platform thing or what. I just think it's got to a. I think it's. I don't think there's a game there, and something that goes on for 7, 8, 9 years, and you can't even get like a pre-alpha release. Like you look at Minecraft when they're doing like a drop, putting a drop out
Hmm.
there. It'll be here's a snapshot, here's a snapshot, here's a snapshot, here's a snapshot, here's a snapshot. Here go, people go play test it, etc. 7 days to die. It's exactly the same thing. We've been playing on 2.0 early release for the last month, finding bugs and that before it goes, full release. By the time
Right.
recording tomorrow, and 7 days to die was for the longest time was in alpha, pre-alpha, blah blah blah, and getting the community involved, invested, playing it, play testing it, finding the things. That's the normal development cycle for things like this. Hytale had nothing. Hytale
Yeah.
had an excellence in hype and marketing. I think that was what it was had going for it.
Uh, and there was excitement. I mean, both from what I've read, both with the development team and people excited about it. But yeah, I don't know why. Nothing was really said about why they didn't get community involved right away. Whereas now they're saying, the developer's saying, hey, I've got this legacy version. It's ready to go. If Riot Games releases it, I get investors. Plus, he said he had his own money. We could have a game out there right now with people playing it. Why they didn't have that before, uh, who knows? But I still think they shouldn't have had the push. And I don't know if it was Riot Games or just they were looking at money or whatever. The push to go multi-platform. They should have just started out PC, got it in the hands of the people, trying it, playtesting it, finding the bugs, uh, and helping develop it. They were doing things in house, and then started growing. The company started growing more and more, and I think it just they got overzealous and it got bloated. They were trying to put too much in, um, and it just fell behind.
Well, it smells to me like Riot Games just cutting their losses at this point.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And which also doesn't really give much credit, I don't think, to this claim of, oh, we got a legacy version. Because just thinking as a business, if you've got a game out there that you've let's talk from Riot's perspective here at the moment. If you've bought a studio working on this game, you've sunk money into it. If there was a product out there that was even semi able to be launched to try and recoup some money, or at least see a future in it, surely you would release it in
Mhm.
whatever format it was. But again, it's not. And I really don't believe that there is a version of the game ready for release tomorrow sort of thing. I don't buy it. I think it's a saving face tactic because it doesn't make sense. And the fact that it's gone on so long, yeah, I think it's just a case of Riot just going, you know what, we're done with this. Like we've sunk that much money into it by this stage because I think they haven't been there. When did Riot buy the
I'm
studio?
not sure.
2020. So they've had it for 5 years. They had
Right.
Hypixel Studios. Yeah, a half a decade, nothing to show for it. I'd be looking at cutting my losses too, or at least
Yeah, I
recouping some of my investment, which would mean releasing what we had. If we have a legacy version that can be released, why would you not? And then and then it'll be ported to other platforms shortly. Like again, I'm going to go back to 7 Days to Die. It started on PC only. It's only in recent times that it was, open to cross-platform. So I think it's just a failure on many levels.
yeah, I have a feeling that there was an ultimatum from Riot Games that either you have something that we can soon, like super soon, or and they probably missed the deadline. Um, but the thing is there's still community excitement around it that are wanting to possibly invest or have it open source. There was a open letter sent to Riot Games asking if it would be possible to have the legacy code, the legacy version of the game be open source. And also the developer of Vintage Story expressed having a Vintage Story mod or version of Hytale. So I'm not as sure how that would work. Vintage Story is one of those games. It's not really a mod. It's its own separate game from Minecraft, isn't it?
I don't know too much about it. It doesn't interest me.
No, me neither.
So I don't know too much about it. I've never seen any video of it. I've seen it mentioned around the place by various of the Interims players, but even again, like they're not much into it either. I don't know. I don't know enough to comment on it personally, but it just goes to show like there's a lot of when something's successful and something works well, you get the copycats out there.
Hmm.
And I think that's what it is. Like Minecraft's the king of this style of game, and you got other things trying to knock it off and that. I don't ever see it getting in this genre specifically. I don't think anything's going to beat it. I think it's too much of a behemoth to stop. Does it have its flaws? Yeah, it does. Does it have its things that could be better? Sure, of course it can. Is it really a survival game? No, not really. What it does do is it does really, really well. It's got a great community. It's got a lot of activity in it. And I think it's got one of those things because it has got a legacy behind it. Sorry. So you got those mums and dads that, started playing it when it first come out, are starting to have young kids and that of their own and, passing on the love of the game to their kids. So it's got that continuous, the next generation sort of feel to it. Whereas these copy ones that are coming through don't necessarily have it. And if, you introduced me today, I hadn't heard of it, this Reforge game, just looks weird. And my question is
Yeah.
why? Why do we need a game like that? Like we have Minecraft. Be original. Go out. Come up with something. Like you can see that it's got taking so many cues from Minecraft. Do we
Yeah.
need a Minecraft 2.0? Let's like leave that to Mojang. Go and develop something new, something creative, something different.
Well, 4J Studios is making Reforged. They were the ones that ported Minecraft to the consoles. The Xbox 360s, the PlayStation, the Switch. They made the port for those consoles. But now they're wanting to branch out and do their own thing, but it's really, I mean, is it all that original? Not really.
Well, from the trailer, I hadn't heard of it until this morning when you said, and we're going to talk about this one as well. And it's like, okay, let me go have a look at it. And I watched the trailer and it's go, yeah, okay, I can see this is Minecraft with, I'm going to argue, worse graphics. I don't think it looks that great shot. Personally, like that, look, I know there's probably people out there that love that sort of art and that sort of graphics. I'm not one of them. It just doesn't look, to me, it doesn't look good. But that's just me. That's my personal preference. But you just look at it and it's like, okay, yes, we're getting different angled structures and whatnot. But you know what? 7 Days to Die has that as well. The way that that works, and it just
Mhm.
it's Minecraft just with different graphics. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not really doing anything different. Where your episode on how to fix Minecraft inventory, you mentioned 7 Days to Die a lot.
mhm,
And 7 Days to Die is one of those, you know, survival, crafting, building type of games, but it's got some things in it that make it special that, you know, if there were in other games like Minecraft, you know, it would it be a copycat or would it be, you know, but it's with the Reforged, yeah, it's not doing anything from what I've seen, anything really different except for maybe the art style.
it just makes you wonder: is will Minecraft ever be dethroned? Now, I had a conversation with Blind Cubsy last night. We were playing, incidentally, 7 Days to Die because new release, so we're sort of doing a playthrough of it to learn it because we both really really love the game. And we were talking last night, and I actually made the comment, and shock horror is like, I'm actually over Minecraft at the moment for a little bit. But that happens from time to time. You can't play a game. It doesn't matter what game. Doesn't matter how much you love a game. You can't play it every single day and not at some point go, I need a break from the game.
Mhm.
Does that mean then that I want to go and play a copycat Minecraft? And I think that's why I can't see any of these copycats ever truly knocking Minecraft. I think it's too well embedded, it's got too big a community. In terms of content sphere, it's so oversaturated. Someone starts a gaming channel, and what they usually throw on there, oh, let's do some Minecraft. That it's just that style of game. It's just what people go to. It's so known. Even if you don't play the game, you know it. You've heard of it, you've seen it. Particularly at the moment, you've got a movie and that about it. It's out there. The internal failings aside from high Pixel Studios and Hytale and all that aside of how they've mishandled it and what's actual truth and blah blah blah, all that aside, the fact remains is Minecraft is the king of that sphere, of that genre, that sandbox. If you want to beat it and knock it off, go do something original, add something original to the genre, or something new entirely that captures the imagination of people like Minecraft has for over a decade. That's where I think some of these copycat things are going wrong, is they're trying to be Minecraft 2.0, where they should go off and be their own thing.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If it looks too close to Minecraft is, then it's just going to get compared no matter what. Um, a game that I haven't played in a while, but I do enjoy. That's a survival and crafting game. I've mentioned it before. I think is called Enshrouded, and
Mhm.
it seems like that one uh, does a lot different for me uh, to make it different from something like Minecraft. You've got, you know, boss fights and, you know, several boss fights and you know, they're constantly updating it. Uh, they're adding new things in, you know, like Minecraft, but, you know, it's different enough to where it doesn't feel like the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is if someone wants to try and make a competitor to Minecraft. I don't know the answer to it. One thing that a person should be doing, or a company should be doing, is not sitting on a game for 10 years. Get something out for people to play with and get feedback and get investment. Like, I don't mean monetary investment, but get people emotionally invested and attached to it would be a good start. not keep sitting on it and saying, here's an update, here's an update, here's an update, here's an update, and never actually ever release a thing, because that just seems so weird. And that's when I think, like on the Interrealms Discord, when it was said on the Hytale's been cancelled, I don't think there was a lot of shock around the place. Like it was like, oh no, like there was a lot of sarcasm. It's like, oh really? Didn't see this coming. So yeah, I just colossal. If we're going to go back to the whole the whole Hytale thing, just a failure on many levels. And I think you need to aim that at the developers, not necessarily Riot Games. Riot Games are just going, you know what, this is 5 years, we've had enough. Wipe our hands of it now, like cut our losses. Aim it at the developers. These guys are saying, oh, we've got something that can be released. Well, okay, but you haven't until the times come. You've the internal company culture sucks. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I think it's just a complete failure.
But let me ask you this: if someone does come along and either picks it up, reinvests in it, or it's made open source, I mean, do you feel like the bridge has been burnt for you to where you wouldn't be interested in it, or would it still pique your interest? You might give it a shot. This question's for you and for the audience.
For me, I think
Yeah,
the thing would come down to more of where actually is it? Or is there actually something there? Is there something that can be salvaged? For Riot, I don't think people understand how much money Riot has probably sunk into it over 5 years. Them to walk away from it, it can't be in a good place.
yeah. Well, in my opinion, if there is something there, if there is any truth to that there's a legacy version ready to play, that's maybe doesn't have all the features that they had wanted, that and it's just for PC, that they should get it out there. That's just, I feel that they should at least give it a shot. And from what I've been reading, there is still hope. There's still, when the initial announcement was made that it's canceled, there's a lot of people that started talking to developers that were with the original team that had left, that worked on the legacy version, that really would like to get it in people's hands. That if there's a way, it still could possibly happen. But I feel they should just forget trying to port it to consoles, forget the cross-platform, just to get people playing it.
The big problem I think that they've got now is if they do go and release something that is in like a pre-alpha state or something like that, because they've spent 10 years on hype as opposed to releasing what they had in small stages and getting people's thoughts on it and growing with it, if they release something that maybe is pre-alpha, alpha, even beta, whatever, you're going to have people go, and if it hasn't got all those features or it is very unpolished, unfinished, you're going to run the risk now going, really? Is this it? Is that it? I think they've locked themselves in by keeping it behind closed doors for so long.
That is true.
They've built themselves into a wall now where they release something that is really good or they can't release it because it is so unpolished. People are going to go, oh, this sucks, and walk away. I think that's the bubble that they've got themselves into. And yeah, I think that if you take it all the way back, and I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it one more time, if you take it all the way back, the biggest failure was not doing alpha releases, pre-alpha releases, blah, 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 getting people to help with the playtesting and keeping it behind closed doors, because now they've got themselves in a no-win situation, I don't think.
That's true. But I mean, that's just internet culture, even Mojang gets complained about by, content creators and people every day, just because, like this doesn't work, or vibrant visuals doesn't work. Why did you ship it like this if it doesn't work? So that's just the internet for you.
It is, and unfortunately, though, that's the sphere in which they want to enter. So Well, yes, it does suck that that's the society in which we live. Unfortunately, that is the society in which they need to operate. So, but I think it's. I'd be surprised if someone picks it up.
Yeah.
I really would be.
And I think that about sums it up, for Hytale. Good luck. Maybe you can do something, but good luck.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being overly harsh. Maybe the listeners will say I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's more often than the case than not that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just run my mouth. But I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are on it because, and I know there's probably a couple of people there that are definitely going to comment. I won't say their names, but there's a couple of people that I know are probably going to not necessarily launch in, but they're going to definitely have a say on Hytale because there was some very big people. There were a couple of people in interims I know that were following it very, very closely and excited for it.
Mhm.
But interested on the feedback on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, please give us your feedback. We need your feedback. I mean, go back and watch the last video on AI, and we need more feedback on that one. But we need feedback on this one. So just, put your comments down in the comments section here if you're listening to this on YouTube, or send us an email at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. You can talk to us over on the socials at MC Lab_podcast on Twitter X, or Lab MC Podcast on Blue Sky, or you can find us on the Discord. Talk to us about it on there. There was a lot of talk around Hytale when the announcement was made on the Discord. You can find all these links and more on the interimssmp.com website. You can find all the podcast episodes there as well. And dang, I aced that one. I feel like I aced that one.
It took 10 years, but you got there. Unlike Hytale.
I just rattled that. Oh, wow. I impressed myself.
See, with enough practice and enough releases, anything can finally be perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of beta testing.
Lessons to be learned by Pixel Studios.
This has been a production of the Interims Podcast Network. For more information, go to podcast.interimssmp.com. You can see that full link in the description of this episode. Thank you for listening.